What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 26 of Procedurally Generated, the show about the random history of video games. My name's Chris. I'm here with John.
Hey, how's it going, Chris?
Hi. I'm well.
Hello.
And I'm here with Courtney.
Hi.
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 I forgot to say what date it is. It's September 29th. I could say it's September 27th or even 26th, depending on when we decide to actually record. But hey, life happens, so we're gonna make this thing happen, and we're still gonna get you guys an episode by tomorrow.
Yeah, I gave you guys a week's notice that this was happening.
We're all about flexibility here.
That's true.
Last I heard, we were gonna be doing this on a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday, it's it's probably a Tuesday somewhere.
Yeah, probably. No, I don't think that's how it works, but
that's how
it's definitely a Thursday somewhere.
Oh no.
To be fair, it's my fault it didn't happen on Tuesday. I'll take responsibility for Tuesday.
I don't even remember why we didn't record.
I think we all
so
said,
you could have gotten away with it. I was just willing to blame John for everything.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I don't blame you for blaming me.
Monday wasn't my fault, but Tuesday was my fault.
I blame Sundays.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, what matters is we're here and recording episode 26.
Yes,
and,
we are. We've got games. We're all here. It's all good.
We're all feeling well. We're all healthy. We're all happy. I'm happy.
Yeah, I think so.
That's the. I don't know. I've heard less excited yeses. I guess.
I'm tired from vacation, which
How
isn't
was
something.
Nashville? Yeah,
you
were there. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I went to Nashville to celebrate my aunt's birthday. We were supposed to celebrate it last year. It was for her 75th birthday. But we all planned to get together for her birthday this year in Nashville. Started off weird. Got a call at 4:30 in the morning while I was getting ready to fly off. And my dad had COVID. So he was no longer going and my mom was no longer going. My dad is my aunt's brother. So there goes part of the fun of the weekend was getting family together from all across the country.
That's so sad.
Yeah, so we went to Nashville. We had a great time. We were wandering around Broadway, which is their main party street for a few days. Lots of drinking, lots of country music, as you would expect. I did not sadly get a cowboy hat or any cowboy clothes. Next time.
I'm proud of you, but I'm also slightly disappointed that you're not wearing a cowboy hat right now.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah, I'm not even convinced you went.
This is tan. All right, let's go with a different Nashville story. So, because of COVID, I don't have any. I guess not because of COVID, but I've gained some weight over COVID, so I don't have any dress shirts that fit. So we were going to go to a nice restaurant on Sunday night, and I decided, I'm going to go find a dress shirt while I'm out there. So Sunday morning, I go on an adventure through Nashville to try to find a place that just sells casual dress shirts. And I ended up walking a total of 5.5 miles that day.
Wow.
Okay.
All the way around Nashville. Got a shirt. It's $90.
Oh my god.
Got it back
shouldn't
to the
be this
hotel.
hard.
Does not fit.
Did you not try on the $90 shirt before you bought it?
You can't. There wasn't a place to try it on there.
Is that a COVID thing, or do they just?
It was a small boutique. It was I thought it was a thrift shop, but it was a local designer liquidator place. So it was a little boutique shop. That's why the shirt was so expensive. Yeah, it was just a comedy of errors that happened throughout that day. So the kicker for that was can't return it. There's no returns. You can only exchange it. You can only exchange it at that location. And I don't live in Nashville. So we made a trade with my brother-in-law who lives down there. And now he has that shirt. He liked it. So and it fit him. So we
what did you trade him for?
It out. Dinner. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, it worked out, but
Interesting.
yeah.
Just not a lot of.
I'm
I'm just curious about like the store situation. Like how is it so hard to find a place that sells dress shirts?
I was in the middle of downtown Nashville, where there's like all there are like high end stores or like gift shops. So I had to walk to like the part of town that was like, think of like our dinky town, like our college campus, like small town shopping area.
Right.
And that was the only thing that I found.
Okay.
That would have anything like what I wanted. So yeah.
If you buy a dress shirt in Nashville, does it come with fringes?
No, this one didn't.
Oh.
Tassels.
Wait, tassels are different than fringe, aren't they?
I don't know what a fringe is, but I just
tassels are like a bundle of fringe. Kind of. Depends on the tassel. Anyways.
Like a tassel would be fringes like joined together.
You say fringes and I think
but
of like Austin Powers'
like
shirt.
A line of dangly things all coming down.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which we saw a lot of different fun kinds of fringe. Like my sister spotted leopard print fringe.
Perfect.
I think it might have been pink.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah. So great people watching on Broadway.
we brushed over this kind of quick, but are your parents doing all right? They're
as far as they're telling me, yeah.
Okay. Good. We'll be obviously thinking about them as
that's always the key, isn't it? As far as they're telling you.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, I'm probably gonna have to get a COVID test here soon because that place was packed.
Yeah.
So many people. But yeah. How are your weekends?
Ours was good. We had a COVID scare. Kate thought she had it because we had a friend over a couple weeks ago, and she ended up having it, but we were outside the whole time. But Kate's also had this weird nagging cough due to like allergies, so it's like, oh no. These things just happen to coincide because she got a test and it came back negative. But pretty chill weekend. I spent most of the weekend converting a closet in my office, which I'm distracted by because I still have the lights on, into a recording studio. I'm trying my hand.
Why aren't you in there, Chris? We are recording.
Listen, it is a small space, all right? I can't stand there for 2 hours. It is a closet-sized studio that is even smaller because there's blankets hanging from everywhere.
That's fair.
So it's going to be there. It's for short voiceover sessions. I'm going to be trying my hand at some voiceover work. I'm getting some good feedback from some people. I've got some technical things to figure out still to try to get some room reverberations out, but it's a fun challenge. It's fun. There's progress from my first recording to the most recent one. So that's what I've been kind of working on.
Cool.
Courtney, what you been up to?
Well, my stuff's not that exciting. My weekend was going for a bike ride and then going for a hike in the woods.
Hell yeah.
Perfect.
Doesn't have to be complicated.
It's not complicated.
I was an indoor kid. You were an outdoor kid.
Yeah. Yeah. That might be true.
Nice.
I have no COVID scares over here.
Oh, good. 0.
No COVID scares. Yeah.
Perfect.
That you know of.
Well, we're saving that for this coming weekend.
Have you guys had any time to play any of those video games?
I played a tiny bit of one. So last week was the Nintendo Direct that happened on Thursday, and in there they announced the Castlevania Advance Collection. I think it was in that.
Yes.
Was that part of that? Yeah. So I bought that. I started playing Circle of the Moon. I only put like 20 minutes into it, but hey, that seems actually pretty good. It seems to hold up from a Game Boy Advance Castlevania game. So I've heard most of the games on that collection are great. and Circle of the Moon is probably the worst of them. So if I'm like mildly impressed by that one from the outset, it's just all sunshine and rainbows from here.
What I need to do is I need to find a proper path through the Castlevania series, much like what we'll talk about in a little bit with what I've been playing. But that's how I want to enjoy those games. But I have this thing where I need to enjoy them in a certain order. It's not even in the order they released. If there's a chronological order, if there's something, and then I want to suss out. I want to understand like the best process through those games. And that collection coming out helps a lot because those are not any games that I've ever played.
Just start with Symphony, and then anything that is like Symphony of the Night,
no. I don't want
from there. Don't go with don't even bother with the NES and Super Nintendo ones. Forget that. Those are
that seems wrong.
I feel like you just crushed him right now.
No,
I just might as well not play.
No.
I just might as well not play anything. That's it.
Wow.
I'm giving up video games.
It started at Symphony. One of the best games ever made. Top 10.
Right. Why would I start with that though? If I start with that, then everything else is downhill for the rest of the Castlevania games.
No, because the other games that do it like Symphony are still good. And then you don't have to worry about the 3 or 4 or 5 that came before it. Don't worry about those.
I don't even know who you are.
I'd like to hear from our listeners if Chris should or shouldn't play the earlier Castlevanias.
I'm offended.
Unless they come up on the list on
I feel like if it
Generated.
were someone other than Chris, you could say, don't worry about playing the earlier Castlevanias. But because it's Chris, there's not a chance. He
I mean, you got to understand like how I'm put together. I beat Mega Man 2 today. That's the first time I've ever beat Mega Man.
Wow.
We beat Mega Man earlier on stream a couple months ago. So I'm working through the Mega Mans. Like that's the same kind of cadence and order I want to go through now.
But there's not such a big difference between the Mega Man games as there is between Castlevania, like the original Castlevanias, and then like the jump to Symphony of the Night.
Right.
They're
but
like
the reason that I want
games.
to, the reason I want to enjoy that though is because they're, sorry, your mouth moved but no words came out. What was the last thing you said?
They're completely different games.
Oh, your video's like super delayed.
It's way off.
Sweet.
Oh, wow.
Great. Cool.
It was not you talking. It was you catching up to the words
Gotcha.
you said. Well, I'm going to try not to look at you while you're talking anymore because that is going to be super distracting. But like the reason I do that and the reason I like it so much is because I'm even doing it with Final Fantasy because the Pixel remasters are coming out, which is, I guess, a different instance. But the idea of seeing games that have been around are still around. I guess there's not a lot of Castlevanias coming out these days, but the idea of seeing these games grow and evolve from like their most base point, which, Mega Man 2, Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, and watching that stuff, grow and become these bigger entities and things like that. I find that so fascinating. I love it so much. On the flip side, I played Persona 5, beat that, and now I'm playing Persona 4. And while I'm enjoying Persona 4, I am really not enjoying Persona 4 as much as I enjoyed Persona 5 because it is an obvious step backwards. So it's if I wish I would have played those reversed, but that also cements kind of the idea that I want to experience that franchise. It's one that I've slept on for forever, Castlevania, that is. And I think in order to do it in a way that would satisfy my weird brain is to do it in some sort of order. But honestly, after the NES games, that series team seems to go in a lot of directions, whether it be handheld, Super Nintendo, getting to the like Nintendo 64
or even released in the US and you can't play it no matter how you want to.
Exactly. Well, those I'll concede, that just won't happen. But I guess that's where I just want to see if there's a way to kind of figure out games that are accessible to me, what order they would fall on, and maybe add those to the old gaming list.
Sure.
But
cool.
I guess in that spiel, I covered what I've been playing. Mega Man 2, which we finished.
How that works.
And Persona 4 Golden. But I also, in my spare time, I finally beat the end in Slay the Spire.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good job.
That it only took me. It was my second attempt at that boss, which I won't spoil anything if you guys haven't played it. Also, if you haven't played Slay the Spire, absolutely play Slay the Spire. That game is incredible. But I went into it took me 2 tries, but after the first try, it was one of those like, there's no way you can't beat this guy. It's impossible. And then I did it on my next try, and I was like, all right, I guess it wasn't that bad. But it was so rewarding. That game's so great. So, all right, Courtney.
Yes.
You got really excited when I asked, have you played any games? So what got you excited?
I just feel like I had a little bit more time this week for games. So
Nice.
there's stuff that was played. So got in some Fortnite, obviously. There was a birthday event, got all my quests done, ate a bunch of cake, danced in front of a bunch of cakes. It was a grand time. Awesome.
Sounds like Fortnite.
Tried a new early release game called Obsidio, which is another Phasmophobia knockoff. Except that it's like a group of priests going into a house, and you got to figure out the ghosts, and then you have to do an exorcism.
You said priests, I heard rough. Preschoolers.
Oh no, it's not preschoolers. That's
that'd be terrifying.
Game. Yeah, that's a different game. It was a little rough. They are headed in a good direction, but there's some work that could be done. But it has potential. I don't regret buying it.
Is it rough like the first? My first introduction to Phasmophobia was rough. Like
it might be rough like that.
Animations and just kind of
there were some weird bugs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. But that also just, kind of inspired the group to go play Phasmophobia, which had their 1-year anniversary.
I can't believe it's been a year since that game came out.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. So they had a really cool, like when you log in the garage, they've got all kinds of balloons and a disco ball's going, and they've got music playing. And that's like before you head into the game. So that was kind of cool. And then we also went back and revisited some Sea of Thieves because they started a new season.
Okay.
However,
were you a big Sea of Thieves fan? I didn't know that.
No. So I remember watching Crazy Hazy play Sea of Thieves and thinking, oh my gosh, this game looks like so much fun. So I got it. I tried it by myself, like did the tutorial, and then it threw me into a game where it partnered me with some stranger. My stranger danger partner was kind of mean. And
yeah, that'll happen.
English was not his first language. He was yelling at me a lot, sometimes in English, sometimes in a different language. And it was just not a good time. So that I was like, nope, I'm out. I can't play this game. Not going to do it. But now there are some other people who play, and we have a really ridiculously good time.
Awesome.
Sailing the seas and being pirates.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, that sounds anything else?
No, that's my game.
I mean, that's plenty. That's plenty for a week.
I did have one more game.
Oh. And your videos synced up again. Oh,
yeah,
I can't tell you how happy I am.
Yeah. Hey, you're welcome. Last night I booted up Hot Wheels Unleashed.
Oh, Toad's Jelly.
Which is a game from previously covered studio Milestone, who does the Monster Energy Supercross games and a bunch of other games. But I only played for once again 20 minutes or so, but I got a better sense of what that game is. And it's very much almost like an F-Zero with Hot Wheels cars. So fast-paced racing. You don't really have items, but you have a boost. Each car has its own handling and drifting and braking and speed and all those stats. And you're racing around Hot Wheels tracks, actual the orange Hot Wheels tracks, in regular household environments. So you're in someone's basement, or you're in, I guess it's not a household environment, but let's say you're in a movie theater or something. They have different real world environments, but you are tiny.
Yeah.
And your perspective is as if the Hot Wheels were regular size cars. So everything around you is huge.
Okay.
That's cool.
There's a story mode that kind of it's some of the presentation's a little bit bland, but there's a story mode where you're just like there's a map, and you're just going from point to point on this map and like choosing missions to go on, and they have different objectives or like what place you need to get into to earn your rewards, which are going to be like whatever the in-game currency is, or blind boxes. And blind boxes are how you get more cars. You don't really have a way of choosing what kind of cars you get. Everything is through loot boxes, which kind of sucks. Yeah, that game seems pretty fun. Like the driving model, it handles pretty well, at least for the one car that I was using. There's like a drift mechanic, and as you drift, you gain more of your boost back, so you can start going faster out of your drifts. Other cool thing about this game is you can customize your cars to look like you can customize the different materials of the car, different paints for like all different pieces of the car. So you can make it like your own personalized Hot Wheel, which is super cool. And you could share those with people online. Chris, I don't know if you're going to like this game or not, but I think you should probably try it at some point.
Yeah, this show is the reason that game is even on my radar, because that's in doing our research for that game, we were going through the developer games, I think, and either on the website or something, that's where I first saw like, oh, coming soon, Hot Wheels something. I'm like, like, okay, and so I've been keeping an eye on it for a while. It was tomorrow. It comes out. Comes out tomorrow?
Yep.
Yeah, there are 4 games coming out tomorrow.
There's a lot. Hey, we're in the fall.
I had to make like a decision. So on the stream tomorrow, I'm starting up Blue Fire, the DLC.
Okay.
For you guys that don't know, because that's just like shadow dropping. Well, it's not shadow.
Yeah, I had no idea that was happening.
Yeah, Blue Fire. For you guys that don't know, Blue Fire is it came out earlier this year, and it is right now comfortably in my top 10 games of 2021.
Nice.
That game was awesome, and I'm excited to jump back in. I just saw that the expansion was coming out like a couple days ago. Like, well, I think that's going to go ahead and take the priority.
Going head to head with the Outer Wilds expansion, which is it's bold.
Yeah,
it's a bold move.
And that came out yesterday. Astria Ascending comes out tomorrow. Hot Wheels comes out, and then Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster 6 comes out tomorrow as well. I think that one I might have to double check. But that's like. It's like 6 games in 2 days between yesterday and tomorrow that I like really want to play, and I am
really excited that you're getting more content for the Blue Fire game.
The Blue Fire.
Because I remember watching you on stream playing that, and it was so much fun watching you because the game was beautiful. The game was really cool on its own, but you playing it, you were obviously super into it. You were having so much fun. It was just that was one of my favorite games to watch you play.
That's awesome. And it's like it also created some of the best clips for my channel because it is super hard. Super duper hard. So it's I'm excited to return to that for sure. So
one other game that comes out tomorrow is a game called Unsighted. I think it's tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, so my coworker Marcus Stewart was writing up impressions about it today, but he's super enjoying it. And it's this like pixel art top down action game. He calls it it's like a Zelda-vania. Like you have like a.
I'm gonna jot that down right now.
Yeah.
You just said 2 awesome words.
But yeah, it's like a Metroidvania, but more Zelda like. Still with like the same interconnecting map, but it's a top down action game. But the whole gimmick is every NPC in the game is an automaton, and they all have they're all using like this energy source called anima, and anima gives them the ability to be like a human, like to think and feel, and have all of those human emotions and feelings and all that. Every NPC has a timer on them until like they run out of anima and then transform into like this like raving beast. So you're collecting these items throughout the game to expand not only your life, because you are also part of that time cycle, but you can gift it to other characters to extend their life. So you have like this weird, almost like Dead Rising mechanic where like, yeah, there's like time is passing and these characters could like turn into monsters at some point if they run out of anima. But you could change that fate. You can prolong them until you don't need them anymore, or if you gift them anima, like if it's like a shopkeeper or something, you'll get like discounts at their shop. Or if it's just a character that you like, one that Marcus points out is there's an NPC that has like knives for hands or knives for feet or something, and he wants to live long enough to pet a dog. So like Marcus is trying to keep this dude alive so he can pet a dog like a normal person, and not with like stabby hands. So there's a bunch of little things like that. So it seems really cool. Our whole editorial staff got really pumped after he told us about it. So hopefully I'll have impressions for the podcast next week on that. But it should be it's hitting Game Pass. So it's on PC and Xbox. The game's called Unsighted. It's I have a developer here. Developed by Studio Pixel, and it's published by Humble Games, who's just absolutely on a roll this year.
Yeah. And if you're going to call your studio Pixel, you got to have a knack for pixel art.
It is very nice looking.
Awesome. If you had to compare the art style, the pixel style, to an existing game, what would you choose? There's different kinds of pixel art.
I want to say it's like a more detailed Hyperlight Drifter.
Okay. All right. Cool. I can get down with that.
Yeah.
There's like I love pixel art. Blasphemous is a game that I played this year that I think had just amazing pixel art. Different kind of game. It's, side scroller. But like when we get into like the super skinny characters with like long legs, like the sword and sorcery.
Oh yeah.
I
don't like that.
Then I just it's like it's too minimalistic to the point where I lose my interest in it. So more detailed Hyperlight Drifter would be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So cool, guys. Well, hey,
that's it.
Perfect.
Okay.
So we have a community request. Another question. 2 weeks in a row. So
it's a record.
That's right.
They rose to Mecca's challenge.
1 week in a row was almost a record. So this question, admittedly, it originated in my Twitch chat, but I thought it was a good one. I got crucified for my opinion, so expect some fallback here. But and I'm still getting crucified to this day. So here it is. Games, like always, keep getting better and better. I wrote this. A huge aspect of the show is to make sure we show love to those that came before, though. That being said, with the advent of new technology, our PS5s, our Series X's, our NVIDIA 3080s, whatever, knowing what you know right now, if you were forced to go back in time and pick 3 consoles, which would you dread the most having to play, knowing what you know about video games now? Okay, so you've played PS5, you've played Series X, you've seen the best games that we have currently.
Yep.
All that stuff's wiped away, and you only get to choose. I'm sorry, you have to choose the 3 worst, the 3 worst consoles that you would want to return to.
Sure.
You can. I have mine ranked. I didn't really preface that. Do you guys think you can rank yours?
I could.
All right. Do we want to do like the
is
favorite
the
game type thing? 3, 2, 1?
No, you guys.
One would be
you
the
guys
worst.
both need to answer because my answer I think is going to be very different from both of you.
I am super excited for her answer. Okay. Well, I'll start with my number 3. So my number 3, which is not so number 1 would be my least favorite, the one I absolutely don't want to return to. My number 3 is the Nintendo 64.
Okay.
So that's the super chunky, blocky 3D textures. That console went for it on 3D. which I can respect. But it does not change the fact that if I have to go back and play those games now, I couldn't. I couldn't. In fact, I think I'm going to provide a caveat once I'm done giving my second one. Yeah, so that's my number 3, Nintendo 64. That one's tough. Do you guys want to give your 3s and then I go, or should I give my entire list?
Yeah, that's fine.
Go? Okay. John, give it. Yeah,
I'll go. Number 3, it's probably an easy one. Let's just go with the Virtual Boy. Early Nintendo VR. Everything is red. Everything you see is red. It gave people headaches. You are tethered to a table. It's just not comfortable. And probably wouldn't be good for long periods of time, especially now. Now that we have like proper VR.
Yeah.
It would just be super hard to go back to. It's not necessarily a console, but it is a close approximation to one, and one that would not be great to go back to.
I watched a good friend of mine. I literally saw his heart break when he got the Virtual Boy, which he was super excited about. I remember we were like, I don't know, 9 years old. We were super pumped. And he took his first turn and he played it. And then as a 9-year-old, he kind of sat back and he just like teared up. He was so disappointed.
Yeah, it was a rough time.
Oh man. I tried it for a little bit too, and I was just like, yeah, that's glad I didn't get it. All right, Courtney, what's your number 3?
Well, I can't. Mine's all encompassing.
Okay, fair enough. So you have one. You have just one that you have then?
Oh no.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's not you. You do your top 3.
Okay.
You want us to do our 3 and then you. Okay, gotcha.
We can do
all right. So my number 2, is the PlayStation 2. So again,
crazy.
This list, I should explain myself. I went with consoles that I owned, I played a lot of. That's the reason I never owned like the Virtual Boy. There's consoles that I know are just awful. So I was like, well,
I've put enough time into any of these consoles to know.
Yeah. So mine is the PlayStation 2. And in hindsight, I think this is the right order. No, actually, in terms of least favorite, I should have switched these two around, because the PlayStation 2, while it introduced a lot of 3D environments and things like that, it didn't go all in on it. There was still a mix of other kinds of games on that platform.
On PlayStation 2?
Yeah.
It was like all in on 3D. Anyways, sorry.
Not compared. Well, what I'm thinking of games that like, I think they played more with the idea of how to present 3D in different ways, though. Where it seemed like most Nintendo 64 games had, I don't know, they had differences as well, but I can't help but think of any N64 game as chunky, blocky textures.
Yeah.
PS2 was a better looking version, I think, of what the N64 was going for. That's why I think I should reverse these. Nintendo 64 should probably be my number 2, because I think the PlayStation 2, while I didn't want to put a lot of stock in the games, I think the PlayStation 2 had much better games. That also bears in the fact that not all of those games looked like 3D games with 3D worlds built and things like that.
Right.
I hope that makes sense, because there's other games from that console that while I feel like everything on N64 had a very distinct look to it, PlayStation 2 could mess with that a little bit more. So
sure.
What's your number 2, John?
Geez, this might be tough. Number two. God, I think it's actually coming down to the controller itself.
Okay.
And my number 2 would just be like base Sega Genesis. The 3-button controller is terrible. There's not enough buttons. There's a 6-button version as well, but like the layout for them is not great as well, because it's just 3 and 3. The only way that works is on like an arcade stick. I just don't like the way that all feels. Although I'm probably going to buy one of those Sega Genesis controllers for the Switch, because I'm a monster. And I'm a little bit sad that we don't get the 6-button controller here like Japan does, I think.
Yeah, that's a interesting
It's a weird
call.
change there.
So
like the games there are great, but like anytime I go back to play something, it's always like, all right, what's A, what's B, what's C, and then like moving down the line on those is just a lot to deal with.
yeah.
It's not ergonomically great. I could deal with it when I was like 6, but today it's tough.
Yeah. So Courtney, we'll skip you again.
Skip me again.
All right. So my number one, and it kills me, because this was my boy. This is the reason I'm here. My number one is the NES.
What?
Yeah, I got I have a hard time. That being said, I just beat Mega Man 2 today.
Yeah.
Yeah, where actually the last game that I played was an NES game.
Wow.
But I have the theme, I think, with my choices is that they're kind of the worst versions of what came after them, so to speak.
They were like prototypes for their next version.
Worst versions of 3D. The NES does not look as good as the Super Nintendo, which brought about a more richer, vibrant pixel art type aesthetic. I just have a hard time. There's games that look good on Nintendo, but the best looking games is still they just don't look good. I can't go back and I was thinking about that today when I was playing Mega Man, and I was like, Mega Man 2 looks all right, and there's still that noticeable leap between NES and SNES that when I have to do NES games, it's never the idea of looking at what I'm playing is not a thing that excites me. It's experiencing a history's or a franchise's roots, understanding kind of where it came from and stuff like that. It's more of like a historical aspect, a historical look. There's probably not many one-off games from the NES that I am desperate to go back and play if it doesn't lead to something that exists in a more modern sense.
Yeah,
later.
Except for Lolo. You're gonna get up on that Lolo.
I really don't want to play Lolo. John, what's your number one?
Okay. All right, so this is gonna sound weird. My number one is the Xbox One. And it's
all right.
Mainly, it's if we're taking everything that we've worked with, that we know about today's games,
yep,
and the hardware that we have today, the way that people developed games for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, I guess, but more the Xbox One because it's not as powerful as the PlayStation 4. So many things are unoptimized. They are not working to the strengths of the technology that's in it. They're making things for like PC and then like downscaling it for that console. If I play any of those games for Xbox One, they usually run just about flawlessly on the Xbox Series X. Just throughout that whole generation, there's issues with developers cramming too much onto those games and making a poorer experience because of it. And not actually like you were saying with Mega Man 2, it still looks good. That is a game that was built for that console, with those console limitations in mind. And usually for any console, like you look at your Gears of War, your Forzas, they run great on Xbox. You look at your God of Wars and Infamous and any like PlayStation first party title works great on those PlayStation consoles because they are building towards that specific device. But there's so many games for that just this last generation that did not aim for those specific hardware goalposts, that it ruined an entire generation, I think. Like now looking back at it, I think there was just so much that went wrong hardware wise, or not hardware wise, but optimization wise, that I do not want to go back to it. I will not boot up an Xbox One. I'll play 360 because that's a little bit different. It still had similar problems there, but just like game experience wise, I don't want to do it. So I will play literally any other console.
So just to be clear, then, too, do you say that specifically for Xbox One and exclude Xbox One X? Or does the half step in the generation?
The half step helps, but they carried that same philosophy forward to that. Everything was aiming higher than what the hardware was capable of, unless it was like a first party game.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Interesting.
If that makes sense. Like,
not the answer I was expecting, but it does make sense. I think it's you're right. It's I hadn't thought about that, and a part of me wonders if that same.
Also, that UI is slow as hell.
That's true. Do you foresee like that same problem happening during the second half of this generation? As
yes,
probably they'll continue to optimize. They'll continue to optimize for more powerful PCs.
Yeah.
So okay, that's a fair take. That's something I'd considered. All right, Courtney. Drop your bomb on us. What is this?
I am not a console person.
So your answer is all consoles.
No, it's not. It's not even all consoles. I did grow up with consoles. I grew up. My parents had an Intellivision when I was very young. See, John knows what it is.
Yeah.
It seems to be missing from a lot of console lists, but they had an Intellivision that morphed into a Nintendo, that morphed into like Super Nintendo and a Genesis. But at about that time, like when the Super Nintendo and the Genesis were coming out, I was also getting into PC games and had access to a PC, had access to someone's university account, so I actually could get internet access and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
As soon as I could jump over to a PC, that was far more entertaining to me than a console. And the consoles also lost me. I don't like the controllers. I just don't like them. Nintendo was fine. The Genesis, I think, was fine. As soon as they put in like the toggles, like the thumb toggles, I'm out. I want nothing to do with it. Those controllers don't fit my hands. I can't operate the camera properly. I want no part of it. I don't enjoy it. It doesn't matter what game you put in front of me. I don't enjoy it. I don't want to be part of it.
That's fair.
So that mixes out tons and tons of consoles.
Does it kind of coincide with you mentioned the triggers? Was it thumbsticks as well? The progression from D-pad to thumbstick?
Yeah.
Okay.
I loved my D-pad.
Okay. All right. That's a good answer. You know, I was excited for your answer because some of the people that brought this up in my chat are PC gamers. You know, it's we can have console wars discussion and all that good stuff. But what about the people that don't play any consoles? What's their opinion on this?
Little known fact.
I remember growing up, my brother is 18 months younger than me, and we would be in front of the Nintendo for hours and hours and hours. And I feel like as soon as I had access to that PC, my brother was in a different room playing on whatever console he wanted, and I was on the PC, and there was a split.
Nice. Do you play everything on a flight stick? Is that your controller of choice for PC?
What? There's no controller on a PC. There's a keyboard and there's a mouse, and that's it.
John's trolling.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Oh. All right. Well, that's our responses to what we think are the three worst. What some of us think are the three worst consoles to jump back to. If you guys want to criticize our opinions, we welcome that. Please do. You can reach out to us at Patreon, patreon.com/procedurally generated. You can tag us on Twitter, PG_show. You can email us at pgshowinbox@gmail.com. We have our Discord link below. We'd love to have you in the Discord. And if you really want to get us, we're all streamers. We're all occasionally streaming on Twitch, some more than others.
What?
But we'd love for you guys to jump in and and discuss this stuff with you. You can find me at CW719, CDUBYA719. John, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me at John Carson Games on Twitch.
And Courtney?
Mecha Sprite.
Mecha Sprite.
And really, the only feedback I want to hear from you is PCs are awesome and consoles, meh.
Leading the witness. Wow. Leading the witness. Get in there and let her have it. Be nice, though. Do be nice. All right. What do you guys say? Should we go ahead and jump into our first game here?
Please.
All right. Let's do it. I think I'll introduce this week.
Sure. Why not?
Sure. Courtney, do you want to introduce this week?
No.
Don't even.
We're not.
How
we're
dare
not
you
yet.
even?
We're not there yet. I am
We're
prepared.
not there yet.
I'm mostly prepared
nice.
this week, but
That's
we're
exciting.
not there yet.
All right, fair. You let me know when we're there, and we'll
All right.
go. All right, our first game, developed by Humongous Entertainment. What a great name. Published by Atari. We've got ourselves an action non-sim sports game.
Arcade sports.
Released in 2005. That's a better word. I don't know why the hell I said that. But,
I mean, there's some action, I guess.
Yeah, it's non-sim. Who's ever? I don't know. This game was released on the PlayStation 2. It was released on Windows, and I saw that it was also released on Game Boy Advance,
maybe
on Fandom, but I couldn't find any. I don't know.
A lot of the stuff about the series is lost in the wind. It's weird.
It's a strange thing, but we were talking about, obviously, talking about Backyard Football 2006.
Yeah.
With
the
our
best
boy,
one.
Dante Culpepper.
Oh, no, sorry.
Rocking the cover.
Worst
it
one.
Seems so appropriate.
Oh, man. So I may have dabbled with some backyard games in the past. I don't remember if I've even played the football one. Maybe the baseball one.
I don't know if I played football. I played baseball for sure. And I might have played soccer. But I don't know if I played football before.
All right, so what this is the fourth installment in the Backyard Football series. This time it brings a fully 3D perspective, which it says for PC players, but I couldn't find enough information to verify. I'm assuming the PlayStation 2 one was also 3-dimensional. But...
Yeah, I think I watched some video of the PlayStation 2 version, which was 3-dimensional.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can choose one of the 32 different teams in the NFL, or you can create your own team. Draft various players onto your team, ranging from the backyard kids to junior versions of popular NFL pros, like Dante Culpepper.
So exciting.
Yeah, it was a blast from the past seeing him on the cover of anything.
It's like,
he was on the cover of Madden one year too.
Yeah, surprisingly. What was it, Slim Pickens that year? Or were they just doing like the QB system for Madden that year?
It was the year that he had Randy Moss and all he had to do was throw a ball far, Moss catch ball.
Yeah.
I mean, I say that like I'm being derivative. Listen, that's the most fun I've had watching the Vikings in a long time. I still have. Those were the days.
That's so sad.
Yeah. So I thought it was interesting as I was doing my research for this game. I've not a lot going on specific to this game. I went to Wikipedia, Backyard Football, and as I'm scanning through, it's not a huge page, but there's a lot of things going on, and there's bullet points. You know, this game had this. 2002 had this, 2005 had this. There's no bullet point for 2006. There's a bullet point for every other football game in existence for backyard football, but they just blew right past 2006.
2007 was the next one.
I can't tell you how long I stared at the page going like, am I on the wrong page? Am I missing something? Is someone playing a prank on me?
Yeah, nope. Apparently there's just
there.
really nothing to talk about with the 2006 version.
There came a point in the mid-2000s, the mid-aughts, where there was always going to be a backyard sports game of some sort.
Yep.
So I think people just stopped caring unless they were kids or like parents who were looking for a sports game for their kids. One fun fact that I did find about this game is I believe it's the first version that has controller support for PC. So Mecca, now's your chance. Get
that flight stick.
Yeah,
I don't want controller support on my PC. I just want my keyboard and my mouse.
Pick up your what was the Microsoft controller for PC? Remember what it was called, Chris?
I
Garbage.
don't. The Xbox controller? I don't know.
Yeah, talk about this game a little bit. I'm going to look this up.
Well, here's my thing with this game. So I watched some gameplay. First off, like there was the kickoff. You pick your characters. I think I saw like Brian Urlacher in there, and like a bunch of players from 2006. But there's the kickoff. The kid catches the ball, and it takes him no less than 3 seconds to run 5 yards. Like the gameplay looked so incredibly slow. I get that these are children. Yes. I understand,
and it's built for children. I think the review I read on this was it was a slower paced version of Madden. Like you had the same kind of play calling and all of that, but it was slower, so kids could like deal with things that were happening on the screen. Okay. But also with that, it's just a really slow game.
They say really funny and cute things though. So while they're running in like slow motion or like doing whatever in slow motion, they're saying funny things. It's a little entertaining.
Yeah. It's cute. It's a cute game.
It's cute.
It's a cute series.
Well, okay. If we're gonna talk about this children's game meant for children, my parental instincts are kicking in here because I have some real concerns regarding the safety of these players.
Is it the CTE protocols?
Absolutely. All of these kids are wearing old school kicker helmets. Nobody's got pads on. When these kids are getting hit, they're getting blown up. We're talking backflips. I mean, these kids are getting destroyed on every hit. I don't know. I don't think they're teaching the right stuff here. This is and these kids never lose their smiles either. After everything they've been through, I think they've been knocked senseless. They're all constantly smiling. I don't know. There's a dark side to this game. That
Papa Bear's coming out.
Yeah, I think we need to explore what's really going on here. These kids are they're hurt badly. But yeah, no, it's a football game. It's with the backyard kids and some NFL pros made small.
Teeny tiny.
I don't have too much else. I guess I did have I guess I didn't jot down. There's a couple different game modes. I think it's a single game and season mode. Those were the two. There's no be a pro. There's no franchise mode. I guess.
Again, it was a little hard to say because nobody wanted to talk about the game that came out in 2006.
True. I could tell you everything about every other backyard football game, but just not a lot going on with the 2006.
Yeah, there's some darkness surrounding 2006 apparently.
Yeah, I think the developer history is far more interesting aspect.
For sure.
John, you seem to have found some stuff. You guys want to lead us off with what's going on with this developer?
Sure. So, like Chris mentioned before, the developer is Humongous Entertainment, which is a company that was founded. God, why did I just all of a sudden lose what I was looking at? This happens every time, I swear. Yeah, it was founded by Shelley Day and Ron Gilbert. Ron Gilbert's a name that you might recognize as being an old school point and click adventure creator. I believe he worked at LucasArts.
Yeah.
Worked on Maniac Mansion.
Yep.
Yes.
So, I loved that game.
Yeah. Yep. So he and Shelley formed Humongous Entertainment. Humongous Entertainment was a name that was suggested by Double Fine's own Tim Schafer.
True.
Which is a very interesting little tidbit. Humongous was originally known for creating a series of point-and-click adventure games that were made for children. Those series are the Putt-Putt series, which is a little car that would go on adventures. Freddy Fish, which is an adventurous fish. Pajama Sam, which was an alien child in pajamas, I believe. I never played Pajama Sam. I played the heck out of Putt-Putt. Putt-Putt was my jam. And then Spy Fox is the final of the quadrilogy of Humongous Entertainment created titles. Yeah, and then one little tidbit is at some point they became the third largest children's educational software company, which is, I don't know what the other two were.
Yeah, I found I don't know what the other two were.
Is
either,
it like
but
Scholastic?
It's probably something like that.
Yeah.
But they were. That was confirmed on the. It was the Time Digital Archive page.
Yeah,
from
but
April 9th, 2009.
It didn't pop up for a page for me for whatever reason. So.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I saw that. I saw that same thing.
Yeah.
Which is. I mean, that's lofty. I am curious what the first two are. Especially for then, but. Do you want to keep going, or do you have?
No. If you wanna take over for this next part.
Yeah. So I have kind of a timeline built out here of what happened, and there's one point where I am literally going to stop and just read something from Wikipedia because I cannot for the life of me figure out what happened. So in 1995, they formed a sister company called Cave Dog, which made the Total Annihilation games. And that's all they made. Which I've never played those, but they're RTS sim games, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So okay, here's where things start to go nuts.
Sure.
So Humongous was acquired by GT Interactive Software Corporation in July of 1996. In 1997, Humongous signs a 5-year deal with Nickelodeon. I spelled it Nicelodian. To develop games based on Blue's Clues. This marked the first time that a licensed character was worked on, as opposed to the originals listed earlier: Putt Putt, Freddy Fish, Pajama Sam, and Spy Fox.
Yeah.
In 1999, GT Interactive purchased by Infogrames, which is not the first time we've talked about Infogrames or Grames. Is it Grames? Grams? I don't know. We've talked about them on this podcast before. Now this next part I couldn't substantiate. It was listed on Wikipedia, but it didn't have a reference. So I'm going to mention it, but I'm going to mention it with a caveat that the original co-founders, Shelley Day and Ron Gilbert, did try to buy Humongous back from Infogrames, but apparently due to the .com collapse, the funding was pulled last minute, like literally day of. So that's the part that that's what the point was. I couldn't substantiate that. That would be a real big bummer, because the co-founders then ended up leaving and forming a new studio called Hullaby in 2001. Now, also in 2001, Atari laid off 82 people. That's 40% of the staff of Humongous. And then this is where I'm going to transition to a Wikipedia article. So I'll apologize right now because this is not sussed out, but I tried to make sense of this.
No, let's piece this together.
All right. Well, let me read the whole thing and then we'll tackle it by chunks. All right. So in May 2003, after Infogrames purchased Hasbro Interactive, which owned the rights to the Atari brand, the company was renamed Atari Inc.
Yes.
In August 2005, facing financial struggles, Atari Inc. sold Humongous Entertainment to majority stockholder Infogrames for $10.3 million. Under the condition that all titles developed by Humongous Entertainment are released through March 31st, 2006. However, no further games were completed by Humongous Entertainment in that given time, and the company was dissolved the day after. Infogrames then transitioned all assets and brands to a newly established company, Humongous Incorporated, not bound to any agreement from Atari Incorporated, which would go on to publish several titles under the Humongous name until 2009. End.
Yeah.
So that's the clip that I got. So the thing is, there's companies using the same names, in different ways, and I cannot keep that thread straight.
And I think it's all like companies and subsidiaries and people buying stuff within like the company structure to like who actually owns the property. Like if a company was spun off into its own entity, it would own like specific IP.
Yeah, it became a little bit more clear with the next point where it said financial troubles led to Atari filing bankruptcy for 3 U.S. subsidiaries: Atari Incorporated, Atari Interactive, and Humongous.
Yeah,
which is I think 3 of the companies listed above.
Yes.
With are listed.
Some of them are
the long
inks.
Wikipedia
Some of
article.
them are entertainments. Some of them are just flat out the name.
That's, man, for our research, that should be illegal. You gotta make this easier on these guys. You can't use the same name for everything.
The early 2000s should be illegal. You're right.
This is like
especially
I'm learning
the game
JavaScript.
And like the game and like the Silicon Valley, everything. That's just a mess.
Yeah. So, as a result of the Humongous brand, led to bankruptcy, most assets were transferred to Tomo on, you guessed it, my birthday, July 19th, 2013. Why does all this cool stuff keep happening on my birthday?
It all comes back to you.
That's right. The Backyard Sports series specifically that we're talking about right now was acquired by the Evergreen Group. And happy to say that the Humongous website is still active, and the ability to purchase mobile versions of their games, of the 4 original characters that we mentioned earlier, are there. You can get them on, get them off the website. So Humongous is alive and kicking.
Some way, somehow. They've been porting, well, not porting, but they've been releasing stuff on Steam. So like all of those point and click adventures that I was talking about earlier. Putt Putt, Pajama Sam, Spy Fox, Freddy Fish. They are on Steam. So if you have any kids that want to play those, or if you want to take a trip back in time and play those as well, those are available. They do not have any of the Backyard Sports games, though, that I could see.
I tried.
Good Old Games might have something, but I did not check that at the time of this recording.
Yeah, and simply just to I mean, it would be fun to go back and see those, just because. Just Ron Gilbert's affiliation with those games. I was gonna do kind of credits on Ron Gilbert himself, but then realized, well, he didn't have anything to do with the Backyard Sports games.
No,
it's not really the time to focus.
Did you want to talk about Death Spank? Is now the time to talk about Death Spank?
Yeah, it's I don't think so, but it is the second time that I've heard that. Yeah. That game this week, and that's plenty.
What was the first time?
When I was doing the research, and Death Spank came up.
Yeah, and you're like, oh yeah, Death Spank.
Death Spank, yes.
Oh, I remember. Everyone was so excited for Death Spank.
So that's the story of Humongous, as far as I know. Do you guys have anything else you want to toss in about the developers?
No, not really.
Awesome.
Go play Maniac Mansion. Is my toss in.
Yeah.
Maniac Mansion. What was the other one? Was it Monkey Island? I think no.
Monkey Island was
I think it was Monkey Island.
Yeah, Monkey Island.
Yep. Yeah. So Ron Gilbert, like, kind of the pioneer for like successful adventure games.
Yeah, for like comedic adventure games.
Yeah,
for sure.
Excited to see. I didn't know he was connected to the studio until I started the research.
I didn't know either, which makes a lot of sense just for the amount of character that the characters have. I guess the personality that the characters have. And just having like functional point and click adventures for kids. I think knowing that genre so well, like having worked in it, he probably brought an ease of use to the user experience for kids.
Right.
That makes sense.
Well, there you go. Well, that's game one. Let's say we take a little break.
Let's break it.
Cool. We'll see you guys shortly.
Yeah.
What's up? We're back.
You have to listen to your producer, Chris.
I think I nailed that. I was like, "Hey, we'll go at this time," and Courtney's like, "Okay, but I'm gonna cut 5 seconds off.
I'm gonna count
down with my hands." And then boy, that might have been the most troubling welcome back I've had.
Obey the
that was
producer.
The best.
Lie down.
I do like the surprise producer role.
Yeah, well, that's true. I need to get used to that.
She just kind of like jumped into
she's
it.
She's gonna be the.
It was really good.
I gave
was
you
ready.
really solid hand signals on that one.
To be fair, though, your screen is still super blurry when you go live.
Oh, you could tell.
So you could have been flipping me off. I don't know.
This is what flipping you off
keep
looks
throwing
like.
punches?
She's just fist pumping.
That's why we can't do a video podcast. I just got flipped off. You would have flipped off all our viewers, listeners.
That's true.
Didn't
Eli Manning do that this weekend?
I heard about it. I didn't see it. I didn't feel like I needed to be flipped off by Eli Manning.
Yeah.
How was your guys' break? What did you guys do during the?
Oh, I turned on the Tokyo Game Show stream and listened to some Japanese.
Nice. So they have like pre-show stuff happening right now then?
It's like the opening ceremony thing. So they're kind of going over everything that's happening today.
Gotcha.
I don't think there's any news in like this first part, but there will be later probably over the course of the next 12 hours.
Yeah, it's going to be it's fun. I love it when these kind of events go on. The Tokyo Game Show is the hard one though, given the time at which these things happen. But I don't know. It's always the one I get the most hype for, and expecting some fun JRPG announcements, and usually not getting them. So we'll see. We'll see.
Konami is going to have new information for Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel.
Oh boy!
Coming to a pachinko machine near you. Courtney, what'd you do during break?
Well, I jumped into Discord and watched Coda and Ska doing a little golf in GTA.
All right. Okay.
It was very exciting. And then I checked out John's stream in Japanese that I didn't understand.
That'll happen.
Were there at
least subtitles? I let him in on my two Japanese phrases that I know how to say and don't know which one means what I think it means. It was very exciting. You missed a lot.
Yeah,
I guess so. I had to go save my neighbor's car battery.
That was very kind of you.
It's very nice.
Yeah, we just had neighbors that moved in, and I looked out earlier, and I was like, "Oh, the car door's open. I must be getting stuff." I don't know why I noticed it, but then I went upstairs just now during the break, and I'm like, "Oh, the neighbor's car door's still open. They're probably done getting stuff. I should go tell them." This is also the first time I've ever met them. So, they seem nice.
Did you introduce yourself like, "Hi, I'm Chris from the Procedurally Generated podcast"?
I did. I was shocked they didn't know what I was talking about.
Wow.
They're like, "I only listen to Joe Rogan."
I'm CW719.
You're not welcome here.
You might know me from Twitch.
You might have seen my tweets.
Yeah.
It looks like Sega's announcing an RPG tomorrow.
Is it the mobile one that they already announced?
It says a new Sega RPG is also set to be announced.
Interesting. Okay.
So, hey, you might have something.
It
could be Persona 6, which has been announced.
Has it been announced?
It's been announced.
Okay.
It's been announced that it's happening.
Okay. Work is being
pretty
done.
Sure. A while ago.
Official announcement though? I don't think so.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. If you want to introduce this next game, I can look this up here quick.
Okay. I'll take this one. You can have the last one then.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. Our second game, developed by the 3DO company, published by the 3DO company. We have a third-person action shooter released in the year 1999 on the PlayStation. We're talking about Army Men 3D.
The Third Dimension.
That's right.
This was another one that I didn't have like a ton of stuff on. But I do think it's interesting in the whole scheme of the Army Men franchise. So Army Men started out as like a top-down point-and-click action game, I guess. Or at least like a top-down like shooter. Where you play as an army man, of course, like a little green plastic guy. And you are just going through missions to get through objectives and shoot things and kill other army men. But this is a remake of that game, but in 3D, or a reimagining, as I've seen over and over, of that game, of that first. Once again, don't know why I saw this, but it was a classic Army Men game, which it was remade like a year after the first one released. So I don't know how you could compare it to like the classic Army Men if it was just.
Well, it seems like they were like
in
the planning stages for this game. This is the impression that I get. It's not based on anything, but it's a reimagining of a 1998 game called Army Men, which is an RTS.
Yeah.
So what I see is like
it's
RTS-ish.
Sure.
Yeah. I see like people in a boardroom. I don't know if they would do boardrooms then. I don't know, sure. But they're like, let's make a third-person shooter. Let's make an RTS. And these two people just couldn't agree. Like, well, let's just make two games.
Let's do both.
So that's, because the games are identical. They're not in how they play, but the story is the same, the exact same. The only change is the perspective. The main beats of the story, the things that happen, the characters, all that stuff is identical. So I guess that's an interesting way to approach making a game. If you can't decide on one thing, just make them both.
Right.
I like your analogy, but I want John's like, let's make them both thing to have a lot more enthusiasm. Like somebody just stands up and is like, let's make them both. And then everybody gets super excited.
That's right. Except most corporate settings now in video games, they'd probably be like, you're fired.
I think it was, no one's buying this version. What's popular?
Exactly. So it's I don't know. Is it just me? If we go back to the year, let's go 1998 through, let's say, 2001. I don't know. Maybe this is just something that I remember for some reason. Did it not feel like there were so many Army Men related games?
Yeah, but they were all from one company.
But there's also, because this is around the time I think of Small Soldiers.
Yeah.
I have a feeling like there was a Toy Story game surrounding the Army Men in that game. Sure. I can't remember for sure. For some reason, like, I don't remember this game, but I was thinking about it. Like, I know that I was assaulted with magazine advertisements and commercials and stuff like that for Army Men related games during that period constantly.
Yeah. Saying you're assaulted by it sounds like you didn't particularly enjoy it.
No, it's just like any. It's just like any kind of. I didn't have an interest in Army Men playing them. This didn't push me in that direction. It became annoying even as a kid, where it just felt like they were everywhere, and I'm like, I don't understand the allure of these games. Have either of you played Army Men games?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
No.
Were you a fan, John? Did you enjoy these games?
Yeah, I liked some of the. I didn't play Army Men 3D. I played some Sarge's Heroes, which is probably the first one that really caught on with everyone. Okay. Which I think was a N64 game. I'm looking quickly.
I used a reference for this that I haven't had an opportunity to use this in any other episode, and it was very exciting for me because it was near and dear to my heart, and it's also now especially near and dear to John's heart, even though he doesn't know what I'm going to talk about yet. But Game Informer did a replay episode.
Excuse me? Who?
Yeah, Game Informer did a replay episode featuring
a what episode?
With one Mr. Joe Juba, Matt Helgeson, Tim Turry, and Phil Kohler.
Oh, that sounds incredible.
Yeah, it was an old one, and it was fun. It was a good look at the game. I think I haven't watched them in a long time, but I was caught up 100% on replay for the longest time. I thought it was the coolest thing. In fact, it's probably indirectly one of the reasons why I stream now, because I thought it was so much fun. So did that. Yeah. That's actually, I didn't make that connection until I was watching this replay, and I was like, God, I watched this so much in the day. I wonder if this had the effect that put me, that made my Twitch channel happen in the first place. So. But yeah, that was fun. That was fun. I would recommend that. I've got a link to it we can probably share in the podcast notes and stuff. So please, if you just want to check out what replay is like and listen to some guys from Game Informer, old vets. In fact, None of them are still at Game Informer.
No.
Matt Helgeson's moved on, right?
Oh yeah, he was the first of those to leave.
That's what I thought. But
he's doing well.
Good.
He does stuff with MinMax. He does crossfade.
Yes, he does. He does crossfade. Yeah, that's right. So that was fun. It was a fun way to enjoy that game play, and then just a random YouTube video of somebody I don't know. It was fun seeing those guys do it.
So I looked it up. Sarge's Heroes was the next 3D game that they made. Came out in 1999, which was the same year as this.
This one was 1999.
What was the date on this one?
I don't know if I
March.
have the specific. Okay.
March 1999. It came out on N64 in September of that year.
Wow.
So games don't always have a 2 to 3 year development time.
Cyberpunk
Keep that in mind. Especially with some of these B tier games, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked Sarge's Heroes enough when I was younger. I mean, I would have been 13 at the time, 12 at the time. But the big addition for that was I think it just had more cartoony characters, so I gravitated towards it more. Mm-hmm. And they also leaned on multiplayer stuff. So there's 2 to 4 player multiplayer in that version, whereas this game is just 1 player. Correct? As far as you know,
I think there's a multiplayer mode as well.
Oh, is there? Okay.
In this one,
I must have missed that.
Let me see here. You can also blast away with a mate in a multiplayer mode or 2.
No.
So that's the description on the box. Great. Guess I don't have anything more specific than that.
Excellent.
The Wikipedia for this just says
there's 2 players.
Wikipedia says single player, and John just said multiplayer. So
yeah, there's a menu selection that says 2 players, but I think that might just be 2 players doing the campaign missions.
Okay,
that's my guess.
We'll settle in the middle. We don't know. 1.5 players.
1.5 players.
Yep.
Runs at 10 frames per second.
Play it with your little brother. But I mean, it's a rough looking game these days. Fully 3D environments. I talked about 3D environments in PlayStation 2. You can imagine the fully 3D environments, how I feel about the PlayStation ones. Committing to full 3D in PlayStation was rarely a good decision unless you're playing Twisted Metal.
I mean, looking back, that was also not a good decision.
Also, yeah, but that game was at least fun. I don't know. This one could be fun. I didn't play it.
It looked like it had good review scores. So,
and I think Matt Helgeson, when he was playing this, he said this is one of his favorite games.
Yeah.
So, there's fans there. So again, a time and place type thing. So I'm sure it was cutting edge, realistic graphics, but it looks not janky. It looks a bit pixely.
Yeah, or
you would expect.
Polygons on the PlayStation 1 have this weird they have this weird look to them, like they're not always connected and they're shifting all the time, and that's just the way that PlayStation rendered polygons. It's very odd. It's really easy to notice now, but at the time it wasn't a big deal because that was the best thing that the best way that games looked. So some of our listeners might be wondering, why did they go with Army Men? Like, this was around the time that EA was starting to bring out like Medal of Honor. Like there were first person shooters that were going around that were more realistic, hanging on like real world events. Army Men does have a World War II aesthetic to it. But I did find a quote from one of the developers talking about why they chose Army Men specifically. And it's that in like countries like Germany that are a little bit, this developer says uptight, but like I'd say more strict about like showing violence in their games. They were saying in Command and Conquer, they had to like change all of the units into robots. So it wasn't showing actual like people being hurt. So they decided to just not do twice the amount of work and just make them into plastic Army Men. instead. So
That's actually funny to hear, because if you look at like some of the ads and stuff that they ran, it's like an army man doing a flamethrower on a tan, or a green army man doing a flamethrower on a tan army man, and then like the caption says like, I don't know, high heat keeps the juices in or something like that. And I'm just like, that's the most aggressively violent thing you could do on something that is trying not to be, I guess. Okay, that's.
I guess they could change the marketing for like Germany or Australia or something, but
yeah. Looks like, John, you had to desync again a little bit. I don't know how you fixed it.
Oh, that's fine. Hey, let me do this. Let me do this.
Work your magic.
Hey. Anyways, Chris, did you want to talk about 3DO, the company?
I do want to talk about 3DO.
Cool. Yeah. It's a weird one.
I always knew this one fact. I'm excited to get to it, but I didn't really know it until now. So, the 3DO company, founded as SMSG Inc., San Mateo Software Games, in 1991 by one Mr. Trip Hawkins.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that name rung a bell with me, but I couldn't figure it out. It wasn't like Ron Gilbert rung a bell with me. Trip Hawkins rung a bell with me, but I couldn't figure out why.
It's a cool name.
So it is a cool name.
It is a cool name.
So I looked him up. I was like, what is the deal with Trip Hawkins? Trip Hawkins is the original founder of Electronic Arts. So he founded Electronic Arts in 1982. As he a former employee of Apple, and I think a relative higher up with Apple at the time too. So he left Apple, started Electronic Arts. I don't have too much more on Trip Hawkins, but I imagine he's somebody who maybe wishes he was still with Electronic Arts. So, because that is a successful company.
Yeah.
I think he's. Could you, if you have a second, John, do you want to look up, or Courtney, do you want to look up what he's currently doing? Because I think he's with
I'm looking it up
a
now.
gaming studio, but I can't remember the name of it.
The last thing they have in here is that he's a professor of entrepreneurship and leadership at the University of California, Santa Barbara.
Okay, all right.
He's a consultant.
That was as of 2019.
TripHawkins.net. TripHawkins.net lists Trip Hawkins as founder/first CEO of Electronic Arts and the driving force behind EA Sports, producer and designer, Madden Football, and other hit games. Silicon Valley serial entrepreneur. He's done it a few times.
Wow.
Very, very impressive. Digital Hall of Fame inductee and video game industry guru. What else did it say in here? There's something ridiculous that I saw.
The last startup they have for him was If You Can Company, that tried to foster social and emotional development in children, teaching them compassion and anti-bullying lessons.
I'm checking out his LinkedIn.
That was prior to his being a professor.
I'm stalking his LinkedIn.
Okay, perfect.
You've got his LinkedIn.
While you're doing that.
Wow.
I'll keep on with the 3DO. So, the 3DO launched in October of 1993.
Kitty Hawk. What?
It failed spectacularly. It was due to a couple things: less than stellar game offerings.
Mm-hmm.
The eventual entry of the PlayStation into the market, but the biggest thing, which this was the thing that I didn't know. I knew the price that it launched at, but I needed to adjust for inflation because I really wanted to know what that meant. This thing launched at $699.99.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This and I knew this thing launched high, but I was like, even by today's standards, that's enormous. It's an enormous amount of money.
If you think about it, it is a disc system. It is running off of compact discs, correct?
Yep.
At that time, that was like a year and a half or a year before PlayStation.
Yep. But like, and that's I mean, Sony. I don't know what Sony entered the market at. What, 300? Half that price? Less than half that price?
Let me look that up too.
I think the Super Nintendo and Genesis were selling for less than half that price when this launched. So adjusting for inflation, $699 then is just north of $1,400. That's the equivalent to the PlayStation 5 launching at $1,400.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't know the console's first name ever until today. That it's the 3DO Interactive Multiplayer.
Oh, no.
Is the name of the console. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
They launched the 3DO with a different kind of marketing plan, though, or not a marketing plan, but a different sort of. What they were doing is they were
business plan.
Yeah, business plan. That's the plan. Sorry, they were charging developers. No, I'm sorry. They were taking a smaller cut of developer fees than what the other console manufacturers were doing. The plan was to, I guess, reimburse those developers in a way that makes more sense to keep them making money, selling more games, keeping the console alive, that kind of stuff. The amount that they pulled differed pretty drastically from what the other console makers were doing. The problem is that the games were not good. So the games didn't sell. So they had a crazy expensive system that was also not selling. Mm-hmm. So it's just like everything that could have gone wrong for this launch did, and it went wrong quickly.
I think I know why it failed, though. It's a 3-button controller.
That's what it is?
That's it.
That's what it is? Perfect.
Yes.
They were really fixated on 3-button controllers back in the day. So after the failure, the company decided to turn to game development. They acquired 3 studios, Cyclone Studios, Archetype Interactive, and New World Computing. And they became known as the 3DO company, putting out games. And that I didn't actually. I thought I had a list of some of the games that they've released.
Might and Magic, yep. Heroes of Might and Magic, Meridian 59, which is a MMORPG.
Okay.
Which is one of the first ones. Let's see here. Developed all of the Army Men, all 80,000 Army Men games. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 Army Men games.
Is that just between 1998 and 2001 too?
I think that's just all of them. This is just in alphabetical order.
Okay. Because the amount of those that came out just during those 2 years
excuse me.
Staggered.
There's also Portal Runner, which is an Army Men game. It's a spin-off platformer. Taking one of their characters that kind of looks like Lara Croft and giving her a 3D platformer on PS2.
Gotcha. Interesting. Well, noting the list of bangers that John's listing off, 3DO eventually filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in 2003.
Sammy Sosa Softball Slam.
They went softball, huh?
Wow.
Excuse me. There's also Sammy Sosa High Heat Baseball 2001.
I think I played that one.
Yeah.
I think I played that one because I thought it was the Ken Griffey Jr. one.
Yeah.
That's because I didn't know baseball as well back then.
But also they ditched Sammy Sosa for the next 3 installments of High Heat Major League Baseball. 2002, 2003, 2004.
They ditched him?
Yeah, he's not, his name's not part of it anymore.
I wonder if that had something to do with the Cork incident. He got busted for playing with
Cork.
A cork bat.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, that. He also corked himself with those steroids.
He sure did.
Dragon Rage, that's a game that I've never played, but I've seen 1,000 times.
That sounds like a cool video game name.
Hey, there's dragons.
There's rage. I'm in.
There's endless rage. It was originally going to be a Might and Magic title. Interesting. Okay. Chris, continue what you were going to say before I rudely interrupt you. Also, Battle Tanks is a game that they made.
Continuing where I left off, that's all I have.
I love it.
So, do you have anything else on 3DO that you want to share?
No. No, I don't.
Yeah, so there you go.
They're owned, like, a lot of their stuff is owned by Ziggurat now. I don't know if you mentioned that.
I did not know.
So in April 2020, over 30 of the company's titles were purchased from Prism Entertainment by Ziggurat Interactive. I'm not sure exactly. Let's see if I can find out which ones of these they are.
I wonder. It's thinking back to the fine things that whoever wrote that up about Trip Hawkins, said about him. I wonder how much the 3DO company. I wonder how much of that is referenced, because this seems like maybe he's not the guy you go to. I don't know. That's the vibe.
I mean, if you look at Electronic Arts, you look at EA Sports. He is obviously an empire builder. So says his website.
True, but I'm trying to think back on EA Sports. If he founded San Mateo Software Games in 1991,
yeah,
EA Sports,
yeah,
was a twinkle in somebody's eye. It was barely an existing thing by then.
It had existed by then. EA Sports, founded in 1991. Whoops.
That's what I thought. I'm like, I don't think the first EA Sports games came out until there wasn't anything on NES.
Wasn't like was it Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson, or vice versa, or what? It could be the other way around. Like, didn't they have like a PC game that was that early Madden? Could have been part of it.
I think early Madden. I think
Chip Hawkins was an Apple employee, and he founded and incorporated this in May 27th of 1982.
EA specifically, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But EA Sports, which he's also listed as being,
but he was straight up EA before EA Sports.
Golf, PGA Tour Golf, 1990. John Madden Football, 1988.
Yep, I just saw that. So I guess I didn't realize John Madden Football came out way back.
I didn't start playing Madden until like Madden 93, 94.
Yeah, that would have been probably about when I started too. I guess I didn't realize that there was. That would have been. Gosh, would that have been? That wouldn't have been NES though. Then would it? It had to have been. No. Oh, MS. Okay, so MSDOS.
PC. Yeah.
Yep, it's PC release. So the first console one was in 1990 on Genesis and SNES. All right, I had that part right.
Sure.
So when he says he did EA Sports, he was there for John Madden Football on DOS, Genesis, and SNES, and maybe parts of numbered entry John Madden Football too.
Sure, that counts. That's the empire that he's building. That's the foundation for this EA Sports empire. Chris, he is the emperor of EA Sports. He built that with the palm of his hand.
All right, and maybe NHL. Oh wait, golf was down there too. And NHL PA hockey. No, NHL hockey was 1991. What is an SMD?
SMB? Oh, Super Mario Brothers.
No. Sega Mega Drive.
Oh, SMD, sorry.
PGA Tour was... PGA Tour Golf was 1990. So he might have had a hand in football, golf, what did I just say? Hockey. Maybe.
Not basketball, at least not licensed by the NBA.
Yeah. Everything else looks post his time there. All right, fine. He planted the seed.
But EA Sports aside, he still formed EA.
Yeah. Right. That's correct.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. But then he left and formed 3DO.
Well,
yes, also fair.
Mistakes happen.
Also fair.
But now he teaches anti-bullying, so I don't know why I'm being critical of the guy. He's fine.
No, I mean, we could have fun with Trip Hawkins' career, but
True.
He's
He'll
definitely
probably be when I finally get up to episode 26 on the TikToks or TikTok, he'll be perfect. He'll be perfect base.
Get him
in there.
That's right.
Have him do a cameo, and
then
the cameo be the audio for that TikTok.
That would be dope. That man.
I'm
What if,
Trip
what if the
Hawkins.
TikTok blows up into that where I can start pulling people in for like
build
5-second increments?
empires.
Oh my god.
My name is EA Sports.
Built EA Sports.
I made John Madden who he is today.
With some spicy saliva. And one hair from my head.
Are you going for like a little Ron Burgundy?
I don't know. It's traveling a bit.
Yeah, you're pulling in a lot of stuff.
So it's been a long week.
I think I caught Popeye. I don't know. John, why don't you go ahead and introduce our third game?
Oh, geez. Yeah. Our third game, which a little bit like Popeye.
A little bit.
A tiny bit like Popeye.
There's some similarities.
Is an MS-DOS action game? I guess
that's the proper cadence. That's the proper cadence I'd deliver that in.
Sure, yeah, action game. Developed by Rydell Software Productions Incorporated, as we all know. It was published by High Tech Expressions, a company that it's known by every household, especially in 1990 for owners of Microsoft DOS. This is a Looney Tunes game. What?
It kind of sounds like a salon. I don't know.
I hear salon.
Yeah, I hear High Tech Expressions, and I just think of like
it kind of does
salon.
Wow.
Sorry, continue.
This is a Looney Tunes game. With I would say the most famous Looney Tune, Bugs Bunny. This is the Bugs Bunny Hare-Brained Adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, for the Microsoft DOS.
Had anybody heard of this game prior to us drawing it?
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah, this one was the new one.
Yeah, so you play as Bugs Bunny in a slightly isometric view, as you're trying to escape the mad scientist castle. You might know the mad scientist from the Looney Tunes cartoon called The Hair-Raising Hare, where Bugs Bunny is being terrorized by this mad scientist and his giant red furry monster, just made of hair.
Iconic. I remember that monster.
Yeah, it's great.
Very well.
They did so I was excited
with him.
I was excited when I saw that that's what this game was about. You as Bugs Bunny are trying to move from room to room, escaping various hair monsters, and collecting items like potions, keys. There's other items too. I'm trying to think of what some other items. There's
different kinds of potions.
And different potions will either damage the hair monsters, or they will allow Bugs Bunny to vanish, or levitate over pits. So a lot of the screens that are in this game are little labyrinths that you need to run through to safely get bugs from one side of the room to the other, while dodging your enemies that are coming through. And it's kind of a Zelda. Like, if you think it's like how the rooms are structured, it's 4 walls, like your main floor area that may or may not have pits in it and enemies. And then you have doors on some of the 4 sides, and you're just trying to escape through those. But it's kind of a Zelda structure. Like a Zelda dungeon. So the term
you created earlier in the podcast was Zeldavania.
I did not create that.
What term are you using for this one?
Zeldamania.
That's fair. It's all right.
It's good. I don't know. That's all I've got.
I like it.
I'm trying to think of what's a game. It's a cross. It reminded me perspective wise, and I don't know if anybody's going to know this game, but the old Spy versus Spy game. Kind of looking into a room with like a wall removed. It's isometric, but it's not. It's more flat than that. I had a chance to play this because it's on the
nice.
It's on the software library.
That's right.
If you go there and check it out, you can play it on your keyboard. Now the problem is the buttons to move you around are I, J, K, and M. Those aren't good buttons for moving in the 4 directions. Especially for somebody
remap them.
No. It takes
DOS.
a miracle to figure out how the
Damn it!
buttons work in the first place. Like half the trick to doing games on the software library is trying to figure out what buttons make the thing go. So yeah, it was tough. I did all right with it, but it got to the point where I could not figure out where I've been, where I haven't been.
Yeah.
Every room looks the same. It is,
and especially once you start like picking up keys and you have to unlock doors.
Yeah, it's the pits are much more intimidating. They're not as intimidating as they look. You can't fall down the pits.
Oh, you can't.
No,
I thought you had to use like the levitating potion for that.
If you get the levitating potion, you can walk over the pits. You just can't fall. You can't walk in them. You can't.
There's no chance of death.
There is
because the big baddies, everything is purple
dudes.
in this game too. Nothing is anything but purple.
Also, MSDOS.
Yeah, it is. There is too much purple. So our red hair friends are purple hair friends, and they're not friends. But they'll chase you around and stuff. So it's like trying to manipulate space in a way because they're not quite as fast as you, but they're still pretty speedy. So if you're like on one side of a pit, it's just kind of sitting there, kind of planning out your move. Like if I go now, he might not get me. Can I draw him further this way? Can I loop around? Yeah. It's fine. You're defenseless. You can't attack anything. The only thing you can do is get those potions, which do have negative effects on the enemies, aside from also letting you levitate across like the pits and stuff. So, I've hit on my 3 main points. The description was it's given that it was a tower, and then fandom corrected to be a mad scientist's house or castle or whatever. Bugs is incapable of attacking, so he collects potions to have various effects on enemies. And my 3rd and final point, probably my most important point, that there's so much purple in this game.
There's a lot of purple.
Those are the 3 main takeaways that I got. To be fair, also, I guess for a DOS game, the animations or the characters
look great,
really good.
They look awesome
for a game of that time. So,
and
it won an SPA silver certificate in 1990. That's an award. I don't know what it means, but somebody somewhere liked it a lot to give it an award. But yeah, that's all I've really got on. There's really not too much else to talk about. I don't know what happened. I don't even know if I left the first floor. I was just going through doors. I had no idea what was happening.
I kind of like skimmed through a playthrough and it's pretty quick. Like you can beat it in like less than 20 minutes or so.
Now that I found out that there's multiple levels, I wonder, because every once in a while on the north wall there were 2 doors. There's one you'd come through, and then there was a door right next to it.
Yeah,
and I was like, is that stairs up? Now I'm starting to wonder. I'm not gonna probably play
it's probably
it again.
The stairs.
I'll be fine. But if you guys want to try it, like I said, it's on the software library. You just gotta get used to moving with 4 buttons that should never be used for movement.
Those are weird.
So, yeah.
Do you have
any more in the game?
I have stuff about the developers.
Cool. Let's do it.
So one of the developers for this game is Michael J. Rydell, who the company is named after. Chris, this might blow your mind. You said that this reminds you of Spy vs. Spy. It was designed by this man.
Hey,
he did the Spy vs. Spy games. The thing that really made me hone in on this gentleman is he also helped design the Postal games, which I thought was a very weird connection.
A disconnect.
Yeah, so he did game design on Postal Plus. He did the game concept for Postal 2, which is a very vulgar action game where you are a postal worker who has unfortunately, using the term, gone postal and has gone crazy and started killing people.
Yep.
That
one was in the news
and peeing on people and stuff. Yeah, it was like one of those shock games like Grand Theft Auto or Carmageddon or
you're just
any of
basically
those.
I mean, you can go all out and murder people.
Yeah. Not great. That's it. That's really all that I had for.
Yeah. I actually focused on
developer
a different developer.
Sure.
One of the things that I like to zero in on and find, if I can, especially with these older games, are the people that played a role and are still doing stuff in the industry today.
Yeah.
And I zeroed in on Asif Chaudhry. He
sure.
actually worked as a liaison between High Tech Expressions and Rydell. And then of everybody that I saw with development credits on this game on Moby, he has since gone on to have the longest career and is currently very involved in one of the biggest game releases that release on a yearly basis. He has a very, very important role within the 2K series, NBA 2K specifically. And he is. It's been cool. It's the other thing I like is watching people's careers progress based on what their roles are with games. So
yeah,
he started on just some production work, and then became, well, I guess production and producer, probably interchangeable. I don't know the exact specifications, but was labeled as a producer for a couple of games. And then I think the last 3 or 4 games he's been working as a senior producer. So that's all he works on. According to Moby, he is exclusively working on NBA 2K, that franchise, those games.
He's been jumping from like NBA stuff to NFL stuff, and then back to NBA. He was an associate producer on NBA Jam, one of the best games of all time. Actually, Tournament Edition would probably be the better choice there, which he was also an associate producer on. But then he went to, well, we'll disregard Hexen for. I'm guessing that was N64 or something.
Everybody's got a black mark on there.
But then he works on like NBA 2K, like the original, which is a Dreamcast game, I believe. That's when EA
NFL
Sports
2K
wasn't going to Dreamcast.
Yeah.
So the 2K games were kind of a big deal there,
and they were better.
Yeah. It depended on the year. Once you got to 2005 for football, yes, absolutely. But yeah, and then he kind of stuck with NBA since 2K9. I guess 2K6, 2K7. Went to All Pro Football for 2K8, and then has been part of NBA 2K since.
Yeah,
which is very cool.
So yeah, it's awesome. It's looking back at a game like this, something that never really heard of, but it's also, you never know, like those old games. It's fun to see where some of these people's careers started. I mean, he wasn't even doing anything game related in this aspect. I guess I shouldn't say that, because he was working as a liaison between High Tech Expressions and Rydell, which kind of makes me think it's almost more of a marketing role type of a thing, or something to that effect.
Or producer.
Yeah, I guess
you never know. Like it just could be a semantic thing.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's what I have on Asif Chaudhry. I hope I'm saying that right. So, there's our 3 games, you guys.
Yeah, we did it.
Well,
again.
Now we talked about this briefly in the Discord, but I don't know if we settled on anything. Do we want to change up the way we're ranking these?
I mean, we can.
You saw my vote.
All the hype dies.
I just want to throw it out there. These rankings mean almost nothing.
Whoa. I'm offended.
I'm offended.
I don't remember even how my rankings went last week, but I'm offended.
These rankings mean everything.
You slipped Wheelie Breakers back in there, and it's very odd. You're like number 1.
Yeah. Listen, that game spoke to me. Not
ago.
most of it, but the part that did really spoke to me.
My rankings are important. I don't know that your rankings are important.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, what was the suggestion? Start with our second best game, and then
move to our drop first the bomb, and then our worst.
Yeah, my understanding was to start with 2, go to 1, and then be like, nah, 3rd is still in there.
We can chat. We can say something about 3, but because that way there's like more build up on what our number 1 choice is for the week, instead of being like,
then there's
we give our number 2 and everybody's like, well, we know what number 1 is. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. It's interesting change up. We want to try it?
Sure.
I'm for it.
Why not?
Let's do it. I don't know who started last.
There's only 3 of them. I'll go, I guess.
Yeah. What's your number 2? Hey, this is fun, John. All right, we're changing things up. Let's get some enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Show your fun face.
I wish you guys could have
my number 2 game. of this week is it's probably like Backyard Football 2006, maybe.
Right.
I'm not feeling like the bottom of the barrel. Like I need to start there almost. Like, oh, what do I feel worse about here? And then move my way up to a more positive place. But we'll go with Backyard Football 2006. I think it'd be interesting to go back and see what a kid's version of Madden is like today. And also just see what those kid versions of the NFL players are, which I didn't mention earlier. There are 36 in total in this game.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
plenty.
more than I thought. And so there's 36 pros, and then there's the backyard kids. Because when you pick your teams,
you like draft them.
There were a lot of characters there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and then all of your favorites from like baseball come over. It's all the kids in the backyard.
That's right.
What's more fun than
the
that?
Backyard kids.
That's my number 2 game of the week.
There it is. That's what I needed to hear.
Is that the excitement that you?
Yes.
This is it. Okay, great.
Courtney, what's your number 2?
You know, I have flipped back and forth so many times just during this recording, but I am also going to put Backyard Football as my number 2. Right on, John.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It looks cute.
It's
like
my
the
backup
clips I watched
quarterback.
the clips I watched of gameplay. It had they were funny. It seemed like it would be mildly entertaining the first time you played it, at least. Probably the second time it would be overly repetitive and annoying. But the first time, at least, it'd be great. So that's my number 2.
That'll work. Admittedly, this is a hard week to decide to change up the order in which we're going to do these because, boy, these are all neck and neck for me.
These are all solid 3s.
they
Mix it with anything
are.
Else.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and throw the Bugs Bunny Hare-Brained Adventure as my number 2.
There you go. The
You
one
know,
that you played.
And I don't know if playing it helped or hurt. It was cool to get an idea of how it works. It's of all the games I've had a chance to play on the software library that have been DOS games, this has probably been the most playable because I think at least 2 of them have been in a foreign language. And one of them I couldn't figure out even how to get the game to go. I pushed every button on my keyboard and nothing worked. So
get good.
I mean, it's got a big. I can't get any better than what the buttons do.
Is it VW Sharon? Is that one of them?
No, that one I got working.
All right, great.
Yeah. So, but that one was foreign, wasn't it?
It was. It was all in like German.
We should make a list of our best DOS games we've gotten a chance to play in the software library. Nobody's done it. I guarantee it. I don't guarantee
Beefy
that somebody's probably
roll.
done it. But yeah, that's why it's a fine game for the DOS. I thought the characters looked pretty good. I was lost as soon as I left the first screen, but that's fine. That's it's gonna be my number 2. So John, for purposes of hype, we've got your number 1 and your number 3 left. Go ahead and let us know what's your
Are you gonna cut in some like ta-da music right now?
No, I have to edit this right afterwards.
That's
no frills.
That's what I mean.
And then
I want
maybe
some
have
ta-da
to
music.
actually do work after this. So, ta-da! My number 1. I haven't thought this quite through.
Okay,
yet.
I'm gonna get a soundboard and I'm gonna play a clip for number 1.
Let's see, hold on. Bugs Bunny.
There it is.
Hare-Brained Adventure. That's
I
my
wish
number 1.
so bad that we had a baseball game on this list, though, but that's fine.
Oh.
Bugs Bunny is number 1. What made you choose Bugs Bunny over Army Men 3D? I didn't see that coming.
So I was thinking about this, and I think it would be one. I didn't play it yet, but I like seeing that it's some sort of proto Zelda, even though it came out 4 years after Zelda. I don't know. It just looks fun. I like that Bugs Bunny cartoon. I like the big red monster. And that's really my basis for this.
All right.
I don't really have much.
It speaks to the strength
Ta-da!
of the games we drew this week.
Yeah.
All right.
Also,
Courtney.
I like knowing that the creator of this also birthed Postal, and something about that is very
There's
from
kinda
Bugs
makes you
Bunny to
wonder-
Postal.
yeah.
kind of makes you wonder his
Exactly.
mindset when he was making this game, huh?
Oof.
It's just real mad at the world.
This is the last Bugs Bunny game.
I'm trying to deliver this mail to you, but your dog's just barking.
Wow.
All right, Courtney, drop your number one. What is it? Between what do we got? Between Army Men 3D and Bugs Bunny Hare-Brained Adventure.
I'm curious, which do you think is my number one?
Okay. Oh boy, this is an interesting twist.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that oh gosh, I'm gonna
Is
say
it the
that
console
This is so
game or is it the
cool.
PC game?
I'm gonna say that that's a fair question. I'm gonna say Courtney's gonna go with Bugs Bunny as well.
Heck yes. I am 100% going with Bugs Bunny. I kept flipping it back and forth. As soon as you started talking about the keys being I, J, K, and M, I was like, oh, maybe I don't actually want to play that. But no, I do want to play that because it's DOS and because it's all purple. I'm in. That's what I'm playing.
I will say what worked best for me was playing with my pointer finger and my middle finger on both hands, just like set up on the diamond to play. It was
okay. It's not that bad.
No, listen.
You could have done that one-handed.
You got to be quick.
WASD.
You got to be quick. Those they move. They book it. All right, my number one game for the week.
Yes.
I don't know if that's popping up on anybody's thing.
I don't know. I hear it.
I hear
it. I think it made the sound.
It's the baseball charge sound.
It's great.
Charge.
It might.
It's going to be super awesome if that doesn't come through in the podcast and it's just like this dead space. Like, guys, really, it's the charge.
My number one for the week is going to be Backyard Football 2006.
Is it because of Dante Culpepper? Like you're just repping the Vikings?
Yeah.
Obviously.
100% Dante
made
Culpepper.
From a studio that obviously understands taste.
Really, the best quarterback that didn't come from the Packers that the Vikings had in the last 20 years.
Are we really going to do this right now? We're 2 hours into the episode. Are we really going to do this right now?
Yep.
No, I mean, I'm just telling
right. You guys
truth.
are both Packer fans, aren't you?
I'm not a Packer fan, but I am a Favre fan.
All right. Well, that's fair. That's fair. Anywho, I like football. I hate Madden.
But what if it was Madden with kids?
I would like to draw a circle around C-Dub's face right now and be like, here's a guy who doesn't understand that.
Boom. I cannot stand.
Looking like a turducken.
It has turned into such a watered down, broken franchise that I hate it so much. So even playing a backyard football with kids that are underprotected and likely all very severely concussed sounds way more fun to me than playing a Madden game.
I like that you're concerned about the kids.
I am very concerned about the kids.
They're
Those
virtual.
smiles are unnatural. They don't leave. They're mid flipping in the air after they've gotten drop kicked from 5 yards in there, smiling mid float. It's just not right.
Kids are tough and resilient, man.
I
just wish it was more like Blitz than Madden.
You want to see these kids body slamming each other?
Just want to see that all just shine even more.
I think that means that Army Men is all of our number 3 pick.
Yeah, Army Men.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. I thought Army Men would rank higher with one of you two. I thought actually going into it that it might rank higher with me. But as we went on, I'm good. I don't need to play that game.
This goes back to our discussion about consoles that don't play well compared to what we have today. And when it comes to third-person shooters on the PlayStation, that does not hold up well, probably at all.
No, this would have
the video I watched of this was like somebody who knew what they were doing, but there's like no aiming reticle. You're just kind of firing out into the distance, and you're gauging your aim by your last bullets that were fired.
Yeah, and I'm assuming this is this is pre DualShock.
It might be DualShock.
I bet a majority of people that would have played this game would have played this with a D-pad.
Probably.
And gross.
I feel like you really brought that full circle with our community question and our third pick. That was smooth.
That's what I do. Sure did. That's why I do this professionally. This came out 2 years after the DualShock. So
it did. Okay, so you had if you had a DualShock, you would have been able to play it. But I don't know. Do you think they would have had right or camera on right stick? Probably not. Huh?
Probably not. It might have been like to look over there, like actually just move the camera, but not actually aim your dude.
Yeah, that took a while to come around, even with the dual thumbstick setup. So, in fact, the first game that really, I guess that would have been a first-person shooter game. I don't know. I can't think of the first. Yeah, you had to strafe with the C buttons. Gross.
You had to use, if you wanted to do dual analog with GoldenEye, you had to use 2 different controllers.
I do remember that. It's
messed up. But otherwise, use the C buttons, which is how you would do first-person stuff on PS1, usually.
Yeah. God, what a time! What a time! Look how far we've come. Mm-hmm. We did it.
Let's never go back.
No,
I'm kidding. Let's go back every week with Procedurally Generated. Chris, can you tell people how to support us?
Absolutely. If you guys enjoyed the show, if you guys would like to support us, please do head over to procedurally. Head over to patreon.com/procedurally generated and take a look at the different levels in which you can support us. We would greatly appreciate it. We have a lot of fun doing this, but it does take a lot of work. So it makes it definitely makes things go. We got a lot of ideas for the show and things like that. So those things only happen if we hit some of the tier goals that we have. So that would be first and foremost. But if you want to reach out to us, you want to be a part of the show, check the Discord link down below. That's a good place to start. We love to introduce new people to the Discord. We've got a great community growing there now.
Good constant flow of people. Thanks, Chris.
Yes. Well, we'll see how that flow goes now that I'm not programming as much. And then you can also email us at pgshowinbox@gmail.com. You can send us a tweet at PG_show. You can also check us out on Twitch. I am CW719. John is
John_Carson. Oh, wait, Twitter or
Twitch? Twitch.
Twitch. Sorry, I blanked out for a second. I was looking at something. It's John Carson Games on Twitch.
There it is. And Courtney is
Mecha Sprite.
There it is. So please pop on, check us out.
Follow me on Twitter too.
Oh my God, I'm an idiot. We have a TikTok. Don't forget our TikTok. I work hard on that TikTok.
It's amazing.
So it's a unique look at it. I've had some good feedback on it. Check it out. See what you think. It is PG_podcast on TikTok. A PG show is already taken, and I'm gonna find out who.
It's a great way to catch up on our earlier episodes without necessarily having to. I mean, you'll learn some stuff from the TikToks, but if you want to do a deeper dive, listen to the full episodes. Chris gives a very good synopsis of what we covered.
Yeah, it'll introduce kind of what the games are. I take some more deliberate jabs at some of these games on TikTok. It's just it's a fun way to kind of poke
your
fun.
Platform. How else are you going to get noticed?
Right. Listen, I only got 3 minutes. All right, I only got what can I do here? Yeah, check that out. I put a lot of work into that. I have fun with it. We've got the first 5 episodes up. Episode 6 is supposed to go up tonight on TikTok, but it's not going to happen because I had some mic issues yesterday. So it's going to go up tomorrow after the stream. So episode 6 will be up, and then it'll be turning out some more until we get caught up. So, John, you look confused.
Thank you, everybody, for the community feedback this week. It's been really awesome getting the community questions. And we had a bunch of people, even in Discord, just like offering up suggestions and stuff of things they'd like to see on the show. And that stuff is all fantastic. So keep that coming.
Absolutely. We appreciate that for sure.
My confusion came from looking at our anchor stats and seeing that last week was actually our best week.
Yeah,
with
that's true.
90 plays or something like that, which is
we just put out our tweet recently saying, hey, we're at 1,000 views and thank you guys so much for that. we're only we're single digits away from 1,100 now. So it took
Y'all
us
are amazing.
almost it took us almost a year to get to 1,000. Granted, we had a hiatus, but it's taken us a week and a half to add another 100 to that total. So thank you guys. Absolutely. I hope you guys are enjoying the show.
I also provoked Dan Reichert's Discord and told them to light this episode up. So
Wow.
I don't know if that's it too. So
Perfect.
well, I'll have to check with them and also post over there that we have a new episode coming up tomorrow.
Absolutely. Love it. Love it. So thank you guys again so much. We're gonna get out of here. This one ran a little bit long, but we have fun.
Oh, it's our shortest episode ever. What are you talking about, Chris?
This seems short.
It's as short as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. All right, guys. Have a great night. Have a great week. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.